everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk about something kind of bugs me and do a little update. And I'm gonna turn the comments off for this video because I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna be showing my project vehicles, and a lot of them have been sitting for a long time, 25 plus years. So I don't want to hear, oh, you should be ashamed letting them rot away. You don't love them. I posted a picture of one of them that was parked in a Facebook group, and people were telling me I should be shot for leaving it sitting there and rotting away. And, well, they're not rotting away. Here in my area, they don't use salt on the roads. The soil is very solid, so they don't sink in the soil. You know, they might sink up to the bottom edge of the wheels, but it's very rare they sink any deeper than 3 or 4 inches. And that's not even deep enough to get to the lower control arms or the leaf springs or anything like that. So all of mine are still very savable. They're not rotted out. And I am getting around to working on them. You know, I've been one of those, I'll fix it up someday for a long time, and now I'm proving it. I'm getting around to working on them. One thing you have to remember is it's not like this was a classic car and it was just parked and just started rotting away, you know, within a couple days. It's not like they're disintegrating to nothing. I mean, they're still solid. When they were parked, they weren't popular cars. They were, just plain ordinary cars. My pickups were just old farm trucks, and nobody was fixing them up back then. And plus back then you could get them cheap because there were so many of them around and nobody was fixing them up. And people were hauling them off for scrap, you know, years ago, because scrap prices were so high and nobody was fixing them up, and they could get more money out of scrap than they could for selling the vehicle. So the fact that mine are still here is saying a lot, because, you know, I wanted to keep them and I did want to fix them up someday, but, people were telling me, I had some family members tell me I should sell them and then buy one when I can afford to fix it. Well, you know, if I was to sell it, I might not be able to get a few hundred for it. And then if I try to buy one, you got all these people that think they've got a gold mine in an old car just because it's old, and they want to ask a fortune for it. So I don't want to deal with the hassle. Plus the ones I have already know what they need. So, you know, I'm better off keeping the ones I've got and fixing the ones I've got. So, and another thing, that natural patina a lot of people like nowadays, how do you think they get that? I mean, they don't necessarily get it from being daily driven. And some of them do, but most of them have sat for a long time and have been put back on the road. So, you know, there's different reasons some of them sit. Like my first car, I've still got it. It's one I'm fixing to show you here in a few minutes. It was my first car. I parked it because I got another vehicle, and but I kept my first car as a spare just in case I needed it for breakdowns or anything. And then eventually I just got to where I didn't drive it, and I drove the newer vehicle. And, you know, over time, that's what happens to a lot of them. Or sometimes, you know, people have a sentimental attachment to them, like my first car. Or I've got another truck I'll show you that my dad did a lot of work to restoring it, so I'm keeping it. And they sit for different reasons, and to just see one sitting there and then just flat out dog cuss somebody because, you know, oh, you should be ashamed for letting it rot, it needs to be saved. You know, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to disintegrate in a few years. You know, it can still be put back on the road. All of mine can still be put back on the road, except for 3 of them that I have as donor cars. They're not worth fixing, and I'll show you why and tell you why. But yeah, so that's why I'm turning comments off. I don't want to hear the comments. I don't want to hear the hate. You know, just enjoy the cars for what they are, and I am working to save them. You know, and plus, when you see a picture of a car sitting, you don't know how old that picture is. That car could have been restored and been back on the road for several years since that picture's been taken. So, you know, You see a car setting, don't just automatically assume, oh, it's wasted, it's gone forever. It's not. So that being said, let's go and I'll start showing you my lineup of projects. I'll start off with my first car. Okay, start off with, this is my 1971 Ford Maverick. This was my first car. I'd quit driving it because had all kinds of suspension and steering issues. This thing was a death trap back when I was driving it. But now I know how to fix it, get it back driving good and everything, which I will. I am currently working on putting a video together, getting this thing out and back on the road. I've already started cutting on the tree here. This tree that sprouts over there was growed up against it, and I've already started cutting, but got to get a new spark plug for my chainsaw. It keeps fouling out on me, and every time I get a little bit of cutting done, I have to clean the spark plug. So, but parked it because, you know, like I said, it had several issues, and I wound up getting another vehicle, but I kept this one as a spare, and because it's my first car. So it got parked, and then my dad was actually the one who drug it up here. And back at the time, this was field area, and this has just growed up because this has been sitting here for upwards of 25 years. So all this has grown up since then. And over the years, I'd look at it and I said, well, I need to cut them trees down. Well, I'll get to it later. Something else would always come up. I put it in the back of my head and forget about it. But, I mean, the trees haven't done that much damage. They pressed on that door there a little bit. But this door was already wrinkled a little bit right there. Needed replacing anyways. Plus, the worst of that, I think, will pop out. Same thing back here, this quarter panel. Pretty sure I can pop that out pretty easy. And I have looked underneath. The floor pans are still there, still solid. No holes in the floor pans at all. The hood is pretty bad rusty on one corner, but it was already rusty a little bit back when I was driving it. It already started with some pinholes in it. But I can get another hood for it, no problem. This tree right here, it is against it, but it's not pushing in. So this side is not hurt. The door over there, that tree had pushed up against it. I've tried pulling on the car with the tractor, and so it's away from the tree a little bit. But that dent should pop out without any trouble. The tree up there at the front fender was not touching it. So it's still savable. And I mean, you can see I've been working on clearing up around it and getting ready to pull it out and start working on it. And I am taking video as I go, so I will have video of this car. But all that being said, it is savable. The engine's not even locked up. I was shocked. I put a breaker bar and socket on the bolt on the front of the crankshaft, and it's plumb without any effort at all. So, I mean, it's not locked up, and it will turn over, but I've got to get some better battery cables for it and a carburetor before I can do a first start on it. But I will have video of that. All right, so with that being said, let's move on to the next one. All right, now this is my 1966 F100. I've already got a video explaining why this one was parked and what kind of shape it's in. It's still in real good shape. But I've already got video on it, so you can go check out that video. It's about a 24-minute video. But I did a first start on that one back in the spring, last spring. So that's still very, very savable. And I was actually planning on starting to build it last year, and then I came across the Torino. So, but this one is in the lineup to be put back on the road. Now this one here, this is 1970 F100. Got a 360 with a C6 automatic. The engine is trash. I never cared much for the 360s anyways. I mean, it could probably be saved, but I don't know, I doubt it. I hate that it got this way. I had it covered, but the plastic I had it covered with just deteriorated. I was a young kid at the time. But I'll still be able to find plenty of engines. And this one may be salvageable. I just had to tear it down and see. But anyways, this one, I mean, it looks rough. I'd started doing a frame-off restoration on it back in my 20s. And this truck was given to me by my brother-in-law. It was an old farm truck he used for a long time, and he got to where he didn't use it no more. And he gave it to me for helping haul hay and stuff. So it's still solid. The dent in the door was there when I got it. He was letting somebody else move it in the field, and he backed up into a stump. But as far as rust, it's not bad at all. I mean, just in the normal spots where they rust out, and I think they were already rusting in those areas anyways. But the bed and the hood and the front clip are all right over there. So this truck's still very savable. And this one is on the list of projects. But yeah, I've got other ones lined up ahead of this one though. This one's like last in line right now. Let's move on to the next one. All right, this one here, I picked this truck up back in the summer. This is the newest vehicle I've bought. Or well, not the newest, but the most recent purchase I've made. It's a 1970 F100. Same as the other one, but this one originally had a 302 with automatic. And currently it's got a 302 with a 4-barrel and a 4-speed transmission. And originally it had a 2-barrel 302 with automatic. But the engine's got to be rebuilt. When I bought it, it had a ton of blow-by, and last time I drove it, I think it jumped time, and it's not even wanting to run hardly at all now. So I'm planning to take the engine from the Torino, because I've got a 429 I'm going to put in the Torino, and the engine that's currently in the Torino is a 351 M400 with a C6 automatic that came out of a 71 LTD. Now I'm planning to use that engine and transmission in this truck. Then I may put this one up for sale. I'm not sure yet. So I could sell it and then have more money to put towards other projects. But yeah, it looks, from this video, it looks like it's in real good shape, but it's not really. It's rusted out pretty bad in a few spots. This paint is just rattle canned on. A lot of runs and overspray all over the place. You can see the overspray there. And that was the original color, same as the other 70. It's about almost the same exact color. But yeah, this one may be for sale within the next year or so. But all right, we'll move on to the next one. All right, next we have my 54 GMC pickup. It is a half-ton, the GMC 100. And this one is kept in the basement garage here at my mom's house. This one, found it. A friend of mine, uncle from high school had it. And I talked my dad into buying it for me. And before I could pay him back, he started tearing it down and repainting it. Claimed he just wanted to kill the rust, but he wound up doing almost a full restoration. And the old truck's all original. It's got the 248 GMC inline 6 with the 3-speed on the column. Reason I know it's a 54 and not a first series 55 is because the emblems and because it has an enclosed drive shaft. The first series 55 had an open drive shaft and the emblems were different. But this one is inline. Mainly all it needs is tires, gas tank, and you know, cranking. That's about it. My dad parked it and quit working on it years ago, and then he became disabled and couldn't work on it. So this one, I plan to work on it here within the next few months. So this one will be on the road again really soon, sooner than a couple of the other projects. But show you the inside of it. My dad and my brother and me, we all worked on it. My dad bought a lot of parts. LMC truck got a lot of business from my dad. Bought the headliner, even though it's dropped down, it didn't go in just right. My dad had trouble getting it to fit. I'm gonna see if I can fix it. But yeah, this one is all solid, rust free. It's partially being converted over to a 12-volt system. It was originally 6-volt. Yeah, this one got the starter in the floor. That button right there beside the gas pedal is the starter. My dad put a board of wood on the clutch to keep it from sticking, because he let it sit a few months one time back when he was working on it, and the clutch stuck on it. So he did that when he parked it. So clutch should be good. But yeah, this is one I'm really proud of. So, and this one will see the light of day again here probably this spring. All right, next, this is one of my donors here. This is a 72 F100 short wheelbase. This is pretty much the reason the Maverick was parked, because I put this one together and got it up and running. The engine is a 351 M400, a C6 automatic. Came from a 77 Mercury Marquis, and the engine is stuck. The truck itself, it wasn't in good shape back when I was driving it. It looks a lot better than what it actually is. The floors are rusted out, the front cab mounts are rusted out, and it's just sitting down over the bolts. Front fenders have a lot of Bondo in them back behind the front wheels on both sides. The bed's in pretty bad shape. So it's mainly going to be a donor. But yeah, I miss this old truck. I used to have a lot of fun in it. Everybody in town used to know this truck. And I may do a follow-up video on it, getting a better look at it. I'm going to pull it out of these weeds and everything and park it somewhere else. But yeah, it's just going to be a donor. And the reason this one was parked was because got to where it didn't run right. The engine started loping real bad. I'm not sure what was wrong with it. But I wound up getting another vehicle, and I kept this one as a spare, drove it occasionally. But eventually, you know, it wound up sitting more and more, and just quit driving it. This here is my second donor. This is another 1970 Torino GT. Pretty much in the same shape as it was when I bought it, except I've pulled the coil springs off of it and pulled the axles out of the rear end. I used one of the axles on my Torino because one of them was bent a little bit. This one's still got a lot of good parts. Doors are in pretty good shape. This quarter panel here is the main reason I bought it, because my Torino has been hit right here, and this one is still good. And the inner wheel well is still good, but it's got a good tail light, a lot of other good parts on it. The rear end's still good, the third member, the axles. Well, one axle's not, because I pulled it out and put it in the other one. But a lot of the glass is still good on it. So yeah, that's my second donor. And yeah, I need to put the axles back in, put the wheels back on so I can move it around some. But yeah, pretty much in the same condition it was in, except it was a roller when I bought it. And this is my third donor. It's a 1968 Ford Thunderbird Landau Coupe, 2-door hardtop. I bought this car just for the engine. I was hoping to use the whole drivetrain, but the rear end won't work. It's got a 9-inch rear end where the Torino has an 8-inch. And the rear end housings bolt up different. This one has the links and the panhard bar and coil springs, where the Torino has leaf springs. So I wasn't able to use the rear end. But the engine and transmission are both good. I'm going to use those. It's got a 429 Thunderjet. So I'm hoping to have that engine swap done this winter. And then the rest of this car will be up for sale as parts. A lot of people were telling me on TikTok I needed to save it, but it's beyond saving. Somebody has lifted it with a cable right here and went through to the other side, and when they lifted it, it buckled the roof. So besides the roof, it needs fenders. The hood has a bad spot in it. Front bumper's bent. It could probably be fixed though. The trunk lid is in pretty good shape. The taillight assembly's missing. This quarter panel, somebody's already cut a patch panel out of it. The interior floor pans I think are still good on it, but the seats were gone when I got it. I think the guy I bought it from, that's why he bought it, was for the seats. But it's still got a lot of good parts. The center console, the only reason I took it apart was so I could pull the switch out to be able to get it to crank. Now, I really didn't have to do that, but I did it anyways. But I wound up swapping out the switch with another one I had. And but all the console pieces are still there. And like I said, I think the floor pans are still pretty good on it. But yeah, still a lot of good parts, but nothing that I need. But the car itself is not worth saving. Like I said, if it wasn't for the roof being buckled, it probably would be. But yeah, they made so many of these Thunderbirds. I looked it up online, and they made about over 33,000 of just the two-door hardtop Landau coupes, and they're valued at only about $5,000–6,000 in fair condition. But this is why I bought it. It's for this engine, 429 Thunderjet, and it is in near mint condition. This car, the odometer says less than 25,000 miles, and from the wear on the brake pedal and gas pedal, I'm pretty sure that's right. And all of these clips here are all factory, and they're not broken. And all the vacuum lines, everything. The only work I can tell has been done to it is this radiator hose has been replaced, or the clamps have at least. And the heater core, somebody has bypassed the heater core and just run the hoses together. And that's about it. So I don't know why it was parked. I don't know the story behind it, but it wasn't drove much at all. It's got the hideaway headlights. They even work still. But the engine runs real good. So I'm not even going to rebuild it when I pull it out. I'm going to pull it out, clean it up, put new gaskets and seals, paint it, and put it in the Torino. Of course, I'll have to add the zinc additive in the oil, and I'll have to get the additive for the fuel, because I'm pretty sure with that few miles on it, it hasn't been rebuilt and was originally designed to run on leaded gas, so I had to get the additive for the fuel too. But yeah, that won't be a problem. This here is my daily driver. It's a 2002 Chevy Silverado 1500 LS Z71 extended cab. Really like this truck. I've got less than 100,000 miles on it. Got somewhere around 96,000 on it, I believe. Been a good truck. Had to have the transmission rebuilt once. But other than that, it's got a little bit of a steam leak with the coolant. When it gets hot, it leaks a little steam. I just had to add coolant to it every once in a while. Got the suspension is all stock, but I put some Dixie Pet crushers on it, and I really like these tires. They got like a broken bone tread pattern, and they got skull and crossbone side butters. So I thought those tires were pretty cool, and they make a little noise going down the highway. I tried to be sensible when I bought my first set of new tires for it after I got it, and went with some Dunlops, and they didn't last long at all. So I decided after that I'd buy the tires I really wanted. So I got them. They're all muddy and everything from my driveway. I got to get some gravel put in here, but anyways, that's the daily. Good old pickup. Good and strong. Has tow package. Yeah, it's been one of the best pickups I've ever had. So that's the lineup of the projects and the donor cars and my daily driver. Like I said, they've all sat for different reasons. They're not rotting away, and I am getting around to working on them a little at a time. Currently working on getting the Maverick out of the trees. Of course, I explained all that already. I've got to get a spark plug for the chainsaw, and I think I need to get some more bar oil. But anyways, it'll be out of the trees soon. It's not very far in the woods. It's just outside the edge of the yard a little bit. Like I said, it was a field area there where it's parked at one time. So around just out close by, it's, you know, cleared area. It's actually the yard up by my sister's house. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm going to turn off the comments because I don't want to hear, oh, you got to save them, you should be shot, you don't love them. I don't want to hear it. You know, they say it for different reasons, and I kept them because for one reason or another they meant something to me, and you know, they're my property, and so I am getting around to them. It's just taking some time. But anyways, got some work coming up on the Torino here soon. I'll have a video out hopefully 2-3 weeks, but I'll try to have a video out regardless within a couple of weeks for update. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, don't hate me too much for letting these cars sit and parked. Like I said, I am getting to them, and I did show you where I was working on cutting out and getting the Maverick out. But anyways, y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.